Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Away we do go. Purple Access, which actually is coming to you on a Monday, Memorial Day. Hope that you are having an outstanding day. So it's Purple Access really masquerading as Purple Daily, or Purple Daily masquerading as Purple Access. I don't exactly know. What I do know is that Chip Scoggins and I have brought an absolute fastball, because we are going to go through in today's show and rank in order our 14 quarterbacks that the Vikings are going to face in 2025, from most difficult to the biggest patsy. So it's going to be quite controversial. I've seen both lists. There's no major disagreements, but there will be some. So we're going to get to that. But first, I want to talk to you about my friends at Neos Elite Performance. Hey, if you are a former athlete, let's say that you used to love to golf or play basketball, and now the aches and pains of life are slowing you down, I want to refer you to people that can get you back on your feet and back in the game. Neos Elite's cutting-edge regenerative medicine and cellular IV therapy is designed to get you going again. Best part, no invasive procedures, white glove service, so no trips to the doctors. The team at Neos, absolutely outstanding. Again, cutting edge stuff. They're going to come to you. They're going to reduce that pain, restore your function, and get you back to doing what you love. And if you reference Purple Daily, you're going to get $500 off a cellular IV therapy treatment. That's right, $500 off. You're going to find out exactly how effective this can be. No surgery, no downtime, only results. NeosElite.com. That's NEOS Elite.com. Check them out and get back in the game. All right, Chip Scoggins, are you prepared? I'm going to throw it to you. We are going to go through 1 through 14, our rankings of the Vikings opponents. There's 14 because you obviously duplicate your NFC North foes 3 times. But I want to hear how you rank the 14 quarterbacks the Vikings are scheduled, because we always could have guys get hurt, scheduled to face this coming season.
This was a fun exercise, Judd. And I will say just off the top, we're a Mahomes and Josh Allen from being the who's who of quarterbacks in this league on this schedule. Yeah. I mean, they face some of the premier guys. I mean, it's a great list. So should I start top to bottom, bottom to top? How do you go?
Let's go. No. Let's go from the top on down. And I will say this. Did you notice the difference in quarterback competition, or quality, I should say, in the home and road?
Home versus road. Yeah. All the home are up top. All the road are at the bottom, basically.
I've always been a football on TV guy. Like we cover games, so we go. In the case of hockey, basketball, and baseball, I would almost rather be in the building. In football, lots of times I'm like, I prefer to be home. On this home quarterback list, I'm looking forward to seeing these guys in person, because I think you get a lot more from that.
That's it. Yeah, I'm the home schedule. I'm really looking forward to. So,
yes, sir.
Without further ado, number 1 on my list, Lamar Jackson. This was a tough one. I kind of debated my top 2, but I go with the MVP. I go with the guy who has mobility, the guy who can really beat you both ways. So I put Lamar Jackson as the toughest quarterback matchup on their schedule this year.
I did as well, but I'm with you. At first, I'm like, I had a little bit of like, is this right? But then I thought, Lamar can beat you in so many different ways that it's impossible not, because as good as the Brian Flores scheme is, right?
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson's going to stress that thing.
Yeah. And just, I mean, what he can do with his legs and his arm. I mean, he's an MVP for a reason. Number 2, Joe Burrow. It was pretty easy for me after picking Lamar that Joe Burrow is number 2 on my list. 3 and 4, I kind of went 3. I have 3, 4, and 5 together, and I moved them back and forth. I went Jalen Hurts number 3. I initially had Herbert there, Justin Herbert, but I said, because I became more of a Jalen Hurts fan in the playoffs last year in the way he played. I kind of thought initially that maybe he was elevated because of the talent around him in the running game and all that. But I really was impressed with him in the playoffs. So I put Hurts 3. I put Justin Herbert 4. And then in that group,
Yeah.
I have 3. I have Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
5. So you could talk me into any order in there, but I 3 through 5, I went Hurts, Justin Herbert, Jaden Daniels.
I got a question, and this is going to be a question that it's probably not fair, but I think it can't help but impact how we perceive Herbert in particular. How much did the playoff game affect you?
Yeah, it did. I you know, I keep coming back to Judd. What year was it when he came to town here and completed like 75 pat?
I think it was the Donatel year, but it was phenomenal.
I had not seen him in person.
Me neither.
Now that was the Ed Donatel defense, so maybe I should reconfigure my thoughts. But Judd, he put that ball wherever he wanted that day, and just his accuracy and his arm strength, I was like, man, this guy is unbelievable. I mean, I would love to see his stats. Maybe we could call him up at the end, but that game, I walked away really impressed with him. Even though in the playoffs it hasn't materialized like we I think people sort of expect. But I just think in terms of just overall talent, that guy would scare me as a defense coordinator because of what he can do. So I gave Hurts the nod because of the Super Bowl experience, what he showed in the playoffs last year, and just that guy can win big games. But I think just in pure talent, Herbert's a tough guy to game plan against.
I agree completely. That game impacted me huge. It's funny because I feel like in football, being in the stadium, there's very few guys where you walk out and say, holy cow, I didn't realize, because we see the highlights, we see the games. The two guys in recent vintage who have done that, Herbert and actually win with the Giants, Saquon Barkley.
Yes.
Like seeing Saquon live, I don't know exactly what it tripped, but I'm like looking at just live, the moves he's making. But on Justin, the thing that stuck out to me, and there's a few quarterbacks who have done this at the Metrodome. Yeah. Jay Cutler did this. The ability to get rid of the ball with a flick of the wrist.
That's
Herbert, like it was literally like his hand would barely move, and it's like ball was out.
I'm trying to call this up here.
I've got the stats.
You got the stats, okay.
First of all, I was wrong. It was 23. Okay. So it was what? That's Flores' first year.
Flores' first year.
Yep. So I was wrong about that. 40 of 47, 405 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. They sacked him once. And he had a passer rating of 123.8 in a 28-24 Chargers win.
And one receiver had like 20 catches. I can't remember. Was it?
I got that right here. Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen. Yeah, Keenan Allen
18
kept picking
for
on
215.
Someone.
Very good.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. I mean, that game has stuck with me, Judd. Like,
I agree.
I think that's the first time I've seen Herbert in person. So, again, I had him above Hurts, but just the Hurts Super Bowl run maybe put him above. And then Daniels, obviously a great rookie season, but you just want to see more of it, just kind of see what the next. But I think just in terms of guys that scare you because he's so gifted athletically and physically and can run too. I had him number 5. Number 6, Jared Goff. With all those weapons and the way he's just perfect for that offense. Now I'm curious to see without Ben Johnson and kind of what that looks like and how Goff, this new version with the new coordinator is.
Right.
But I think he's terrific. I think with that talent around him, he's terrific. So I put him 6.
We sold him short for a long time.
Yeah, I mean he's always kind of gotten sold short, and I don't think it's completely accurate and fair to say, well, look at all the talent he has around him in that system. I mean, he's a good quarterback. Right. He's you gotta give him credit too. So I had Goff 6, number 7. I have Jordan Love. I think he's in I kind of had a 2-man group. It's funny how you kind of, we say tiers or clusters or whatever. I had Jared Goff and Love. Jared Goff and by himself. This next one I had Jordan Love 7, and then Dak Prescott 8. I think I'd put Love above Dak. We've seen Jordan Love at his best against this defense 2 years ago. So I think curious to see how he continues to develop, getting more talent at the wide receiver position. Obviously, that was a deficit that they've neglected for. They have a lot of guys, but they don't have that true number one, or haven't had it for him. So
and now they might.
Now they might. I think that was a priority. Even their own running back said that at the end of the year that we don't have that guy,
Yeah.
So, so I put Jordan Love 7. I put Dak Prescott 8. I think he's still, I don't know what to think about Dak. I mean, I think when he's good, he's good. But that team's just so dysfunctional. They're hard to get a read on.
And are they going to be improved now? Like that's my,
I don't know.
Yeah. Because Dak's not bad when he has a decent team. Like
when he's healthy and yeah.
And the other probably unfair thing, but it's impossible to ignore it now, is the contract. I mean, he's eating up so much of the cap that it's hard to ignore. Like when Dak was paid a reasonable sum, I think it was fair to be pretty high on Dak. But now it's like
you got
to carry the team.
Yeah, you're not performing to that level. But I still think when you in your list, who comes after him and who comes before him, I think that's kind of the sweet spot for him. Number 8.
Yep.
Number 9. And this is where it gets kind of tricky. I go 9 and 10. I go 2 young guys. I went Caleb Williams here, number 9. This is the wild card for me because you have a new head coach who's an offensive guy who's a creative genius. You've supposedly improved the talent around him. You saw in flashes, Judd, why he was the overwhelming number 1 guy in a lot of people's minds. We saw it against the Vikings last year. Some of those ad-lib scramble plays. You mentioned flick of the wrist where he just kind of does the Houdini act. Is there going to be more of that this year, or is it still just going to be flashes and still the growing pains? I don't know, but he's the guy that I think keeps you on your toes. There's probably still going to be a lot of mistakes, but there's going to be some brilliance in there too. So I put him 9. I put Michael Penix Jr. at 10. Just need to see more of him. Obviously, took over for Kirk halfway through. I loved him in college and coming out. His accuracy on the deep balls I thought was fantastic. So we'll see what he looks like as the unquestioned starter and year 2 and in the system but a guy with a ton of talent.
Vikings liked him.
Again. I thought he had the best deep ball in the draft in terms of accuracy. I mean, you watch what he did in college. I mean, it was amazing. So I have him number 10.
Okay.
Number 11, our old friend Sam Darnold.
Disrespect's unbelievable.
There's a lot of disrespect on my list with Sam Darnold. I don't know, Judd. I want to see what Sam looks like away from Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson. And did he really find a career rebirth? I mean, it's hard not to forget about the last 2 games and how he looked.
Yep.
I hope he goes on and has a, established career where he's a starter for the next 7 years, but there's enough doubt in my mind at what level he will get to when he's not paired with Kevin O'Connell, Justin Jefferson, all the coaching that he got here with his quarterback coach. So I have him number 11.
To put you on the spot, Chip, is there any? So if and when his career when it ends, Is there any quarterback that you can think of off the top of your head to make a comparison to who you would say he had this type of career and that's really good compared to how he started? So I'm not saying like a great QB, but just like a QB who was sort of a journeyman who got on like Brad Johnson or something like that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That you're saying if he goes on and has let's say he starts.
Yeah, just plays well. Like I don't expect him to be a star. But
you
like
expect him, let's say he starts for the next 5 years.
Exactly.
Seattle, he's
or bounces around a couple places,
Ooh, that had basically one pop-up year.
And you would say, hey, you know what though? That was not a bad career for a guy who got off to a terrible start in horrible situations.
Can I think about that one for a minute?
Sure. Yeah.
Nothing comes to mind right now.
Because I think your ranking is just about right. But it's an interesting, like there are so many right now. There's so many questions. Like he could go back in the toilet. I don't think he will, but like he could flame out completely. But then it feels like through the years there have been a ton of guys, who have reemerged, and that doesn't make them great players. But you're like at the end of the day, that was a pretty good career. That was okay.
Like if you said, Chip, put money on what you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to flame out, but I don't think he's going to be the Sam Darnold of how many games did he play last year?
Played them
18?
all. 19 games, right?
Yeah, 19. The first 17 games. I don't think he's going to be that. Yeah. What's the middle of that, right? Yeah. A pretty good starter, a guy you'd say, he's probably a top 18 starter,
Yeah, exactly. He's around 20. He's around 20. Here's my question, too, is what happens, because I think this will happen, not the last 2 games. Those games were disasters. What happens when he hits that Jets-Jacksonville spurt? Because I think O'Connell really got him back on track there. That's the tough one. Because you could have spiraled off of that, and he didn't.
I just don't know enough about the coaching staff that he's getting with to know, are you going to have that same kind of touch? And whatever O'Connell did to kind of – because remember, I mean, the turnovers in those 2 games were like, here it is. Here it goes. Yep. This is what we were waiting for. And it just it cleaned up. So – I just don't know enough about what environment he's going in, so it'll be interesting to see. All right, so Sam's number 11. Got 3 more, and you could probably put these in a blender and pick them out. But I went Russell Wilson, number 12. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he's not the Russell Wilson that we're accustomed to, but he's he might still have an occasional magical moment in him. I've seen too many of those Russell Wilson moments when he was in Seattle, right, with the Vikings. I mean, I remember one being out there. I can't remember what year it was, but he had the one in Denver too, right, where he came down. Yep. That game should have been won, and he beat him there too. So, I have Wilson 12, 13 Joe Flacco / whoever's going to be picking.
Kenny Pickett,
Dylan
Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders.
1 of 5. There's 4 quarterbacks behind him. I have no idea who's going to be starting there, but I'll say Flacco and put him 13. And then 14, Mason Rudolph.
Okay.
Just because I ran out of quarterbacks.
And it could be Rodgers. You don't know.
Yeah.
Like I'm beginning to think it's not going to be, but it could be.
Yeah. So that's my list. So I'll read them back to you. I got Lamar Jackson 1, Joe Burrow 2, Jalen Hurts 3, Justin Herbert 4, Jaden Daniels 5, Jared Goff 6, Jordan Love 7, which if Jordan Love's the 7th quarterback that you're facing, that's a pretty tough stretch. Dak Prescott 8, Caleb Williams 9, Michael Penix Jr. 10, Sam Darnold 11, Russell Wilson 12, Joe Flacco 13, Mason Rudolph 14.
All right. I will go through my list. I do want to say this. I almost hope that our old friend Kevin Stefanski, who I think is a very good coach, can escape Cleveland after this season, because I think he would get another job in a heartbeat. I don't think he would have to sit out. I would love to see him with a competent, well-run
organization.
franchise.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
There's so much dysfunction there that you hope that he doesn't get dragged down by the dysfunction and people assume that he's a terrible coach because the organization's so poorly run.
Coach of the year twice.
I think he's a very smart coach. I think he's a good guy in terms of just relatability with players. So I agree 100% with you.
I think if you put him in a place with an infrastructure that he would help there. I mean, the poor guy. I mean, look at this quarterback list. To your point, Joe Flacco, God bless him, but Pickett. I mean,
I don't know. What are they doing? I'd like to know what's the plan.
Dylan Gabriel's like a 3rd round pick, and no one expected. It's very. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing.
I don't know if they know what they're doing.
And Deshaun is a sunk cost at this point. I mean, Deshaun Watson will never play another down there. So
no, but he's just eating so much of your dead money with him. It's
absolutely.
I don't know. Yeah, they're a mess.
Absolutely. Okay, my list is going to be sponsored, Chipper. It's going to be brought to you by my good friends at MSP Plumbing, Heating and Air. All right, that's a picture of winter. We're going to get new B-roll soon because I'm going to tell you right now, winter's not a problem anymore here, thankfully. It's going to get warm. It's going to get hot. It's going to get sticky. And that is why you want to make sure to contact the folks at MSP to make sure that your AC is working right, because as the temps rise, you want to make sure that your house is comfortable. The warmer days also mean community events and outdoor time with family. So make your way to Grand Old Days on Sunday, June 1st in St. Paul. Stop by the MSP booth at Grand Old Days for a chance to win a Blackstone grill. And also, if you stop by, you can receive a special discount of $60 off any HVAC or plumbing repair as MSP's way of saying thanks. Follow the fine folks at MSP on Facebook to stay in the know on special offers and events. Give them a call, 651-615-4292. Or if you prefer, check out their website, callmsp.com. Callmsp.com. I can tell you right now, they've been to my house. I don't allow a lot of people in my house. I allowed them in, and they did great work. Call msp.com. All right, here are my 14. There are some differences, nothing huge. But yes, this is the top 7 or 8 are, they're tough. And there's 2 wild cards here to go back, which is Caleb and Penix.
Yes.
We don't know. And Caleb, they have, much like the Vikings, that offensive line is not going to be a sieve. So it's going to be, my top 3, I agree with you. Lamar Jackson, Burrow, and Hurts. If you ask me which quarterbacks I am really excited to see play in person, Lamar for sure, and Burrow for sure.
Yeah.
Hurts, I don't think there's a lot more. I think how he plays is how he plays. I don't expect to be surprised. But I do think that there are things probably on TV when the camera goes off them when it comes to Burrow and Jackson that we don't see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that definitely intrigues me. Number 4, I differ from you a little bit. I have Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Where you had Herbert. Now let me say this though, because I sort of see what you did, and I don't disagree with it. What do you think are the chances? And this happens for not huge, but regression from Washington and Daniels in particular, because he's a very talented dude, but every team on the Commander schedule, their DCs, Brian Flores ain't out playing golf. He's in a room locked watching film of teams like the Commanders to try to figure out how his defensive structure can stop Jaden Daniels.
There could be, but I also think how much better is he going to be having that year of experience and coming back and just having all that knowledge that he's gained. Yeah. And I think he's a very, very smart and instinctual quarterback. And you saw it, all throughout his college, and we saw it last year. So I understand because you always have, there's going to be teams that regress, right? After a pop-up year, it happens all the time.
Stroud and the Texans did.
Stroud and the Texans did. And darn well, Brian Flores and our defense coordinators are studying Jaden Daniels to try to figure out, particularly the DCs in his division, to have to face him twice. So, but I put Herbert above him just because of a couple things. I think experience, just having seen Herbert more, like Daniels, I think he's going to be great, but just need to see it again. Just need to see what the follow-up act looks like,
Very fair. Very fair. All right. You had Herbert 4th, Daniels 5th, Goff 6th. Yes. I've got Daniels 4th, Goff 5th, Herbert 6th.
Ooh, you're down on Herbert. This is bulletin board material.
This is bulletin board material.
I think Jim Harbaugh is going to see this thing and put it up in the locker.
But
He's
can I
gonna
offer
put this? You know the iPads that they get.
Yep.
This right here is going to be on Justin Herbert's iPad.
It's going to be like looking at that Zulgad guy. I hate him. I can't pronounce his last name, but I hate him. I will say, I'll temper this by saying, because I'm with you. When I saw Herbert in person, I was impressed beyond belief. This is almost more praise for Goff.
Yeah.
I have, Mackey got on the Goff bandwagon about a year and a half ago or so, and I was still pretty skeptical.
Yeah.
But when I saw him here last season, that dude, I mean,
Pinpoint.
Yeah, well, and here's my question. How much, and this is not to insult him, okay? But how much of his success comes from being in originally the McVay infrastructure? Because, like, if we're going to credit, and we do O'Connell, McVay's pretty, I don't think it's an accident that Baker Mayfield made a stop with the Rams and then went on to play really well.
Yeah.
I think those cultures and infrastructures for that position can be huge.
Sam Darnold?
Well, that's potential. Like, I don't think he's going to stink. I don't know what he's going to look like. I don't think he's going to regret.
That's what I'm saying. Sam Darnold made the tour through there too,
Yep. And Shanahan, in his case, you're right.
Shanahan. They're all in that same tree. But, Jared Goff, I'm a big fan of. I mean, he, particularly when you look at, so much that we're doing the quarterback, but I think we have to look at who they're with, and that,
no question.
The Lions skill people just, they have constructed that team to be great, and that offense to really put up numbers and be explosive. So I could see Goff there because I think he's impressed a lot of people the last 2 years because it's not just, you thought when they made the Stafford for him switch, like, well, they're getting the, kind of the, was he labeled like a veteran kind of journeyman, middle of the road
I think
guy?
he was sort of the throw in, like, hey, you take our quarterback back. And like, I certainly didn't think much of it.
No, I didn't think he's this. I wasn't, how much do you credit him with, or how much do you credit his success with Ben Johnson?
I think that plays a role I think that plays a role. I also think in retrospect now, and O'Connell's going to have quarterbacks who have or are going to fall prey to this too. I also think in my mind, I was sort of putting Goff down because, well, he plays for the Rams.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a super high draft pick. Those guys, it's so hard because there's so much talk, but I mean, they can have a rough year or two and then improve. So, but I mean, I just sort of dismissed him unfairly. So I'm trying to make up for that slight as much as demote Herbert a spot.
So you got Herbert at
6.
Okay.
I got Jackson, Burrow, Hurts, same as you. Yeah. Daniels, Goff, and Herbert. And you had Jackson, Burrow, Hurts, Herbert, Daniels, Goff.
Yeah. That's what I say. Those three you could probably put in a blender and whatever day. Yeah.
Yeah. 7, same as you, Jordan Love.
Yeah.
I think this year's going to be super intriguing. As you said, now the receivers have improved there. Jordan Love, in fairness to him, he got hurt in the opener, in Brazil against the Eagles last season. Certainly scuffled when he came back. I mean, the game that he started, his first game back against the Vikings in Green Bay, he probably shouldn't have played in.
Yeah. And he made a couple throws, if I remember that game, but you could tell he was.
Second half, he got way
not right. He got, he's still sort of a conundrum to me. What do you think his ceiling can be?
I don't know. And the problem is now he's paid a lot. It's like that.
I know.
That also might not be fair, but my mindset gets like, there's a switch in my brain on quarterbacks that when they get the payday, my mindset changes a lot. It's
hard because it's like, even if you're 75% convinced that your guy's the guy, you're going to have to pay him, right? Because you can't afford to.
Right.
Start over. So, but I think he's good. I think times he's really good. It's hard for me. I mean, when he came here 2 years ago, he was really, really good. Throwing stuff off his back foot for touchdowns.
Yep.
But I still struggle to try to pinpoint what I think his accurate or what his true ceiling is.
I will always hate how the Packers made him wait. I know that Aaron popped back up and was outstanding.
Yeah.
But I just don't. I have no problem with a year not playing. After that, in today's contractual age, it feels like you're taking your money and flushing it. And so, like, it definitely, and this has nothing to do with him. I'm sure that he would have loved to play 3 years ago or 4 years ago. But anyway, I'll always be impacted by that too.
Sure. Yeah.
Because you have to make a decision then on a huge contract without the facts.
Without a lot of evidence. Yeah.
Yeah. So
without a lot of evidence. Yeah.
Number 7, Jordan Love. Number 8, I'm with you, Dak Prescott. I'll go back to what I said. I can't decide if I'm unfairly penalizing him because he's with a bad team, but I feel that he has to, because of his contract, elevate said team. And I'm also probably penalizing him because the Cowboys are a mess.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's that organization's in such a spotlight, and it's there's just expectations. I agree with you. When you get paid the way some of these guys get paid, fair or not, right or not, that you're going to be judged by your contract.
And he took all the money. Like he maxed that out, which is good for him. But if you're going to do that, I'm going to expect that you're going to basically ascend to Canton.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So number 9, also agree with your assessment. Caleb Williams is my 9th guy. This, to me, has the biggest room for fluctuation upwards.
Correct. Yeah.
Opening night, probably not, but when you see him again, like offensive line now, it's going to be good. Head coach, Ben Johnson, supposedly going to be really good.
Yeah.
Like a year from now, he could be top 5. On this list.
On this list?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not top 5 in the I shouldn't say that. On this list, top 5.
Yeah. I just I want to see if he can maintain the improvising that he does and keeping plays, and because there's so few guys that are going to be able to do what he does, physically, and just kind of the magician stuff that he does, but lower the mistakes and be more consistent. Like if he can do that, now you're talking about the guy that everybody thinks is, a generational talent.
And the protection improving should help that a lot.
Should. My
question is this: with Ben Johnson's system, does it necessarily fit in perfect with Caleb's play?
I would
and
think
that's going to have to be something to work on.
But don't you think you tailor your system to him?
I would hope so.
I
mean, tell me we haven't covered coaches who have no interest in tailoring their system.
Bad question. Bad question.
I mean, Kevin, but I mean, O'Connell still has his principles, but yes, I would think that you would have spent the offseason working on those things. Yeah. But when it comes to crunch time in the fourth quarter, but I mean, compared to a year ago, I love his chances.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I mean, there's more professionalism around him now, and more, you would hope, for his development, more just continuity and consistency. So, yeah, I mean, he could make a big jump. As you said last week on here, it's still a theory until it's proven otherwise.
100%.
Right? It's a theory.
100%. And he's the first name that I could see like jumping a lot. Jordan Love could jump, but he's at 7. I think he's respected. Caleb also could fall. If he falls, it's a disaster, obviously.
Then, you have a major problem. Yeah, correct.
At number 10, because I do not deal in disrespect of former Vikings like you do, because you put him 11th, I put him 10th. Sammy Darnold. Slinging Sammy Darnold.
Slinging Sammy.
Very curious to see this. I'm with you on this. Very curious to see this one.
I really hope he goes and becomes a top 15 starter for the rest of his career. I do think he's a good guy who's very, very well liked and respected in the locker room.
Yes. Yeah, his teammates, as your piece during the season in last year reflected, his teammates definitely love him. I don't know that he's an alpha type of guy, but he definitely is very well liked.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, number 11. I flip with you. You've got Michael Penix Jr. at 10. I have him at 11. A lot of questions. Talented kid, mature, because he's not young. Here's my biggest question, though, because I just think it's got the potential to be a disaster in a lot of ways. Are they really going to hang on to Kirk? Because if this kid throws 3 picks, like I said the same thing about Kirk, but it's true. If this kid throws 3 picks on opening day, you know what's going to happen. They're going to be clamoring for Kirk.
Do you think they will, though, Judd? Based on how things went last year, you really think Falcons fans are going to chant, "We want Kirk"? If they
but I think but I don't know the fans will for sure. But I do think I do think you're leaving a door open that I would not want to. Like, if you're going to commit to this kid, I don't think I want Kirk Cousins behind him.
Yeah, I didn't think it made much sense if once you made the decision to switch quarterbacks, I didn't think Cousins would be back this year. Now, maybe this is a big poker game with them saying, no, we fully intend to have Cousins as the backup and spend that money. I don't know. It doesn't make a ton of sense to have that kind of money, and Cousins around. But I don't think you made a mistake. Yeah, but I don't know. Even the media, I mean, you have to know if this guy has a tough stretch, you have to know what the vision is, right? You got to say, okay, what is going back to Cousins? So you've seen that.
It's the media.
I know.
We got no view of vision. We only know where the next free food in the press box is and how to criticize.
That's right.
You're a columnist for
show to fill. I got to call it right.
For Christ's sakes. What are you going to write? Be patient, Falcons fans?
Yeah, but I just, Cousins is not your future. They made a mistake. I think you have to ride out and see if Michael Penix, even if he struggles, I think you have to ride out and see, okay, this is part of the process, see what he can become. But I don't know if they have the patience to do that, if they can withstand the criticism of it. Yeah.
And are you telling me if Kirk's there and Michael Penix is struggling, Kirk don't walk into Raheem Morris's office say, hey, the Achilles is good?
And I don't know, what kind of footing Raheem Morris is on, too. He might say, I might have to go with the guy the veteran to try to,
that's save
my job. There's a lot of dynamics in play beyond just saying, okay, let a young guy learn on the job.
If the Falcons have a bad year, and they did have, by all accounts, a good draft this year, but if the Falcons have a bad year, there's a chance that the GM and coach are both gone. So I'm just saying Michael Penix Jr., I feel for him here. This has the potential to be very dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Through no fault of Michael Penix Jr. So,
yeah.
Number 12, 13 or 14, we agree, but I've got some thoughts here. At 12, I have Russell Wilson and the Giants late season game in New Jersey as well. What do you think the odds are, though, that Jackson Dart, the first round pick, is starting by then? Again, a sort of dysfunctional
Could be,
thing.
Yeah.
If Russell Wilson they've got Wilson and Jameis, but if that goes sideways, if you are the brass, do you start Jackson Dart to tell the people that own the team, hey, look, we got this first round pick. Don't fire us? What do you do?
That's it. Speaking of dynamics and weird dynamics, if that thing goes sideways, the GM and coach might be on the way out, but they may use the rookie quarterback as a lifeline to say, hey, give us a little more runway here. We picked the right guy and that type thing. So that situation could go any direction, right? So it wouldn't surprise me if we got to the end of the year and you're seeing Dart play.
What would you pay to be in a quarterback room with a rookie first round pick, Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, who's now hilariously funny?
I know.
Can you imagine that show? If you just did Giants QB room on some cable channel, what the ratings would be?
I wonder who the quarterback coach is for them. I would love to know that because that's got to be look that up. That's got to be an interesting job and an interesting dynamic because you have two big personalities that have played a lot in the league, particularly Russell Wilson, and then you're also trying to nurture along a rookie, your top draft pick. So that's a tricky situation there. I agree. Jameis has become kind of the life of the party type.
He's a character.
I know. I didn't know he had it.
He's a slam dunk studio guy now, right?
For sure. Yeah, I think when his career is over, he'll be in broadcasting for sure.
It looks like the guy's name is Shea Tierney, who is also the Giants' offensive passing game coordinator.
Okay, yeah.
Not familiar with him, but he's going to have a fun year.
Good luck, Shea.
But I mean, do you have to shield Jackson? Like, I'm just curious because you talk about two, they're dynamic, but you talk about two what seem like very different humans,
personalities.
Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the odd couple there, right? I mean,
yes,
the odd couple and the rookie. Yeah,
yes.
that would be a sitcom.
Oh, it'd be a great sitcom. Have them live together and a new odd couple in Manhattan commute to work together.
Come down in their slippers.
I love it. I love it because Jameis would 100% be Oscar, and Russell would be a perfect Felix.
That's right.
All right, number 13. I'm with you. I've got Flacco. It could be Pickett. It could be Pickett. He could win the job.
Yeah.
And then, as we talked about before, Dylan Gabriel, 3rd round pick, I think, from Oregon, who went way before people projected. And then Shedeur Sanders, who went in the 5th round, way after was projected. Another potentially odd room. I don't think Flacco's going to be a problem, though, for sure.
No.
So if Pickett starts, he starts. But Cleveland sure don't scare me offensively right now.
Yeah, I assume they hold on to all the quarterbacks they have because they have another one on there, right? Didn't they have 5 after the draft?
Oh, I don't know. I've got 4 written down, but you might be right.
Yeah, so I don't. I assume they hold on. I mean, somebody's got to go to the practice squad, obviously.
Yeah, but who? That's a really good question. Like, do you just not care and try to get Shedeur through? Because I don't think you're gonna. I mean, Gabriel is a 3rd round pick, right? I'm almost positive. So you're not going to release him.
No. Yeah, and you're going to try to sneak Sanders on. I mean, obviously he got passed a lot, so maybe teams would just say.
That's what I'm going to say. Do you not care if he gets claimed?
Yeah. I mean, you got 4 quarterbacks. You don't need 4 quarterbacks.
As I said, Stefanski, Kevin, get another job. A lot of places. And then we are in lockstep, at least for now, number 14.
Yeah.
Mason Rudolph. Just to be clear here, too, if Aaron Rodgers ends up with the Steelers, which I'm becoming more and more convinced he won't, but if he does.
Where do you put him?
I was going to say, I don't think he's a lot higher right now. He's higher, but I don't think he's a lot higher. Do you?
I don't know. I'd put him in the top 9.
I was going to say 10.
10? Yeah, not definitely in my 9.
But I mean, we saw him with the Jets against the Vikings in London last year, and I'm going to tell you, didn't exactly knock my socks off.
No, he looked his age that night in London. So,
all right, so I go Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, Dak Prescott, Caleb Williams, Sam Darnold is my 10, Michael Penix Jr. my 11, Russell Wilson, Joe Flacco, Mason Rudolph. Our only disagreements or slight discrepancies are you had Herbert 4, Daniels 5, Goff 6. I went Daniels, Goff, Herbert, and then you flat out disrespected Slinging Sammy Darnold. You put him 11th and Penix 10th, and I reversed him because, I mean, the man gave everything he had to the purple until the very end, in which case.
How soon we forget, right? How soon you forget.
Fell apart. All right, Chip Scoggins, thanks much, and we will talk to you on Thursday.
See you later.